Hello, I'm in your face again. And this time around, we want to build up rate for plastering of different thickness. I have here on my screen a 12 cement sand plaster of in a ratio of 1:4. I have a 15 plaster in ratio of 1:3, and I have a 25 plaster in ratio of 1:5. And the ingredient for building up this rate is cement, sand, water supervision. Of course, the supervision, the indirect cost, is something you have to build separately. You have to build separately before incorporating it into the direct cost, because the direct cost is the material and the labor that will do the job. While the indirect are those important, relevant personnel that needed to run the affairs of the site for for a better coordination, and at the same time they don't have direct involvement in the actual work. They are important because the foreman that will oversee the mason that is going to handle the plastering is important to that job, because he has to guide him to make sure that the job is done properly. The timekeeper that is going to keep the record of the staff's attendance is as important for the smooth running of the site. The project manager is important. The engineer is important. The security guiding the site is important. The equipment like the mixer that will mix the mortar, if it is you're not allowed to hand mix, that equipment as well is important for the job to be done fast. So these are all under preliminary, under indirect. So that will be built and then incorporated to now have an all-in rate. Having said that, as we can see, we have the cost per kg for cement as 190, then the cost per cubic meter of sand as 6,344. So now what we needed to do next is to convert the square area into cubic meter by multiplying the square area by the thickness, which is 12 and which is here. You see 1 times 1 times 0.012 to give you a cubic meter. Then uh, we needed to now apply some percentage for shrinkage, because if sand is in if sand is in its dry state and you fill it in the bucket and now pour water in it, it is going to settle. It is not likely, it is going to settle. And the percentage of settlement is around 20%. So you need to apply that 20% to now get the dry volume of sand that we needed to mix the mortar for the 1 square meter plaster. Then when you lay wall, there are undulations, there are void that needed to be filled. They needed to be filled. Sometimes the wall might not be perfectly plumb. You needed to put more of mortar on the wall to bring it to its a plumb state. So, and that is about 13% as well. So if you sum it together, you're going to get about 33%. So now the 33% is what you are going to add to the volume of the wet mortar to get your dry volume. And that is why you see I have a 1.33 here. If I multiply a 1.33 by the wet volume, it gives me the dry volume. Then part of cement, we said it is ratio 1:4. So if it is ratio 1:4, it is you now dividing 1 by 5 because we are adding this 2, adding this 1 plus 2 gives you 5. So you come here, you see I divided 1 by 5, I have a 25%. Then the density for cement is 1,440. So by the time you multiply the dry volume by the part of cement by the density, you have a 5.75 kg of cement, 75 kg of cement for the 1 square meter of plaster. Then for the sand, this is the dry volume of sand, which already has been calculated above. Then the part for the sand, which is 4/5, gives you 80%. 80%, you multiply it by your dry volume, you have 0.01 meter cube as the volume for the sand in 1 square meter. That is what is here. That is what is here. So this process is applicable to all the three. All the three. That is why you see they have their different calculation here. This is 3:4 and all of that. You see in 1:3, you see the cement content is more. It's about 7.18 kg. Why here is about 5.75 kg. Why for ratio 1:5 is 7.9 kg. 7.998 kg. Why the mortar is 0.02. So is 0.02. So this now brings you to your cost for your material. Then for the labor, the average square area that a mason is going to do completes perfectly well. I'm not saying you spread mortar on the wall, you use a short piece of wood just to go through the surface of the mortar, then you now rub and shine. This is where the wall is gauged, and you spread your mortar, you range according to the gauge of the wall to bring it to plumb. The average square area that a mason can accomplish per day is 15 square meter. And if it is 15 square meter for a 12 mm plus for 15 mm plaster. So if it is a 15 square meter wall, minus this, I'm talking about wall. So if it is a 15 and the cost for the labor and mason is 15,000 per day. So if you divide 15 by 14 square meter, here I'm using 14. Let's leave it at 14. 14 square meter, you're going to have 1,071 naira per square meter. While for slab, the slab, which is a very difficult job to do, the square area that will be covered is 10 square meter. So if you divide 10 by 15,000, you're having 1,500. So that is why you have 1,005 here. Then for the 25 mm, which you needed to apply spread mortar, you have to spread mortar twice for you to attend to the thickness, to attain the thickness that is specified. It's going to take more time. That as well too, it's 10 square meter as against the 15 mm, which is 14 square meter. So if you put the price here for labor, you have your 3,500 for 25 mm material and labor. Then you have your 2,500 for 15 mm for 582. Then you have a 2,717 for 12 mm plaster under the surface of a slab. Then, like I did said, that the prelims will be priced separately. Prelim will be priced separately. Say you indicate, say you have a prelim of say prelims, or after you've 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 calculated all the, you've itemized all the things you needed, including the PPE, the plants you needed to bring in, the office space you needed to make available, the the water for works, consumables that you needed to buy, all of that. Maybe say after you now divided it by, let's say you've divided it by say I have a 50,000 square meter, a 50,000 square meter, and I have summed up my preliminary is going to cost me say 20,000. If it's going to cost me 20,000 and I have a 50,000 square meter and add, I want to have an all-in rate. If I want to have an all-in rate, but if I needed to keep them separately, should in case there is a need for me to file for claims for extension as a result of the client's negligence, I needed to keep that separately for ease of reference, and at the same time applicability. Because if it is there, what the client needed to do is to get your site register, to know the equipment you have on site within the period you are laying claims, the personnel that are on site within that same period, the all the things you have on site, because your claim does not affect your direct works. It's only affecting the indirect works. So then if it is a 1 month extension you are claiming for delay, they will now compute it, and so it makes it more easier. But if the rates are all is an all-in rate, the and it is not rates that you made all available to the clients to actually know that this is the amount of indirect that this is the amount of indirect cost that was inside of this. It becomes an issue of contention. It is not this amount, it's this amount. So, but for the purpose of this exercise, we just want to make it an all-in rate for clarity's sake. Say I now divided this 20 million by 50,000 square meter. 20 million 20 million by 50,000 square meters. So I have a 5,000, a 4,000 per square meter, a 400 per square meter for all my, for the expense for the indirect. This is an assumption because it is not properly built. So we're having a 400 all through. I'm having a 400 all through. So if I add the 400 plus the cost of labor and material, and now I add my overhead and my profit, my cost for the 12 plaster will be 3,990, while the cost for 15 will be 3,870, 3,817. Ordinarily would have been asking why am I having I'm having more price. I have more price than the price of 12 is higher than that of 15 If you look clearly, you see that the increase came as a result of the labor cost. The labor cost is higher in this place, while the labor cost is lower here. That made this price to be slightly lower. But in terms of material, you can see that material cost is higher. I have a 1,217, while here I have a 1,510. Then here I have a 1,700. So the material cost, still it is just the difference is in the labor. Here I have a 4,000, I have a 4,600 and 676. 676. So this is how the explanation I did in how I arrive at my cement and sand also applies to the two. What I had to do the separate thickness, and I term this as external rendering. Here as internal rendering. This is as the surface of slab, is for you to have a balanced idea for the three categories of the basic thickness of plaster you often find in a bill. You have the 12, you have the 15, you have the 20 or 25. So this is how you can build up your rates. Please visit my page for other rate have built if you have not seen them. I'll continue to build more rates so that to enable us have a complete understanding of the rates in the bill. The idea I have is to build up capacity, because it is always not healthy. You as a professional, you cannot sit down to build up rates for yourself. Rather, you either call friends to ask them what is the going rate for say concrete, going rate for say plaster, and if the person tells you anything, there is no there are no means for you to verify, because either you don't know how to go about it, or laziness is making you not to do. But if you have all of this files with you, you've prepared this, it is just simply your basic rate. You just go to your basic rate, go to the market, you update your basic rates. This rate automatically will update, and immediately you can have a current rate asset when due. Thank you for watching. Please share this video. Most importantly, follow me on my page for more information, questions. I'll be ready at all time to answer you, even if I can't answer you immediately. But as soon as I am chance, I will definitely attend to your worries. And if the need be, we can put a call across to each other for more clarity. See you next. Thank you.